Good morning, brothers and sisters, and welcome to the National Family Service. My name is Vicky Menning, and I will be your host for today. And I'd just like to extend a warm welcome to our first-timers as well as our regulars, to our international community and movement, which is founded by Father and Mother Moon, whom we affectionately refer to as our true parents. They've invested their lives into building a world of peace centered around the marriage blessing and God-centered families. You can learn more by typing #connect on the Facebook group chat or by visiting the nationalfamilyservice.org. Now with that, I am so excited to pass it on to our opening music of the day.
For our opening song today, let's go to Alpharetta, Georgia, and clap along with the Masembwa sisters as they sing the song, Jesus Promised.
Oh, how wonderful it is. Jesus promised he'll take care of me. Oh, how marvelous it is. Jesus promised he'll take care of me. Oh, how wonderful it is. Jesus promised he'll take care of me. Oh, how marvelous it is. Jesus promised he'll take care of me. I don't have to worry about the things ahead. All I have to do is live right and believe in what he said. I don't have to worry about the things ahead. All I have to do is live right and believe in what he said. I can call him in the morning, I can call him in the middle of the night, and when I call him, he'll make everything alright. It doesn't matter what the problem may be. Jesus promised he'll take care of me. Jesus promised he'll take care of me. Oh, how wonderful it is. Jesus promised he'll take care of me. Oh, how marvelous it is. Jesus promised he'll take care of me. I don't have to worry about the things ahead. I don't have to worry about the things ahead. I don't have to worry about the things ahead. All I have to do is live right. All I have to do is live right. All I have to do is live right and believe in what he said. I can call him in the morning, I can call him in the middle of the night, and when I call him, he'll make everything alright. It doesn't matter what the problem may be. Jesus promised he'll take care of me. Jesus promised. Jesus promised. Jesus promised. Jesus promised he'll take care of me. Jesus promised he'll take care of me. Jesus promised he'll take care of me. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful Sunday.
Thank you, Masembwa sisters, for that opening song. Now let's join Mr. Bill Dillinger for our opening prayer.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Let us pray. Dearest beloved Heavenly Parent, thank you for this day. Thank you for our true parents who gather us from around the nation and around the world. Thank you for letting us hear from our President Ushiroda today. Thank you for the beautiful trees and the colorful leaves that rain down a victorious shower as they prepare for the winter and the next generation of lively green to burst forth in the coming spring. Thank you for your unceasing love that brings new life today and every day. Thank you for all the staff that make this production possible and all the brothers and sisters who join in to multiply the beauty and glory that radiates from you and from our true parents. Let our hearts be filled with your colorful beauty that come from your presence and the words you share with us today. I offer this report in the name of Bill and Dawn Dillinger, husband and wife of the Dillinger family, a blessed central family, owners of Chunilgook. Aju.
Now let's go to Woodbridge, Virginia for a performance of the song Oh My Soul by H.B. Jenkins and the Takashima family.
Oh, how you worry, oh, how you're weary from fearing you lost control. This was the one thing you didn't see coming, and no one would blame you, though. If you cried in private, if you try to hide it away so no one knows, no one will see. If you stop believing, oh my soul, you are not alone. There's a place where fear has to face the God you know. One more day, He will make a way. Let Him show you how you can lay this down. 'Cause you're not alone. Here and now, you can be honest. I won't try to promise that someday it all works out. 'Cause this is the valley, and even now He's breathing on your dry bones. And there will be dancing, there will be beauty where beauty was ash and stone. This much I know. Oh my soul, you are not alone. There's a place where fear has to face the God you know. One more day, He will make a way. Let Him show you how you can lay this down. I'm not strong enough, I can't take anymore.
You can lay it down, you can lay it down.
And my shipwreck faith will never get me to shore.
You can lay it down, you can lay it down.
Can He find me here? Can He keep me from going under? Oh my soul, you are not alone. There's a place where fear has to face the God you know. One more day, He will make a way. Let Him show you how you can lay this down. You're not alone. Oh my soul, you're not alone.
Thank you so much for the wonderful music. I just like to thank the sisters from Georgia and the families from Virginia for providing us with such wonderful music. It's absolutely stellar. And also for the opening prayer, Uncle Bill, that was also really good. Thank you so much. And then what else is also really well is seeing your guys' Facebook comments on the group feed here. So I'd just like to say from Reno, Nevada, Owen just turned 1 year old yesterday. So happy birthday, Owen. And we have Mr. Catalan, who he's watching from the center of the universe. So wherever you are, thank you so much for joining in. But I'm seeing comments all over from California to New Jersey, just all over the US and even some from the Philippines. So this really is an international community here. I'm just so happy to see everyone contributing and having so much fun on the chat. So if you're not there yet, please just hop on in and type in a few words to make yourself known. It'd be so nice to see you. But for right now, it is my pleasure to welcome up our very own Family Federation President in the Americas, Naokimi Ushiroda, for our main message today. Welcome, President Naokimi.
Thank you, Ricky. Happy Sunday, everyone. Today is a very special day for me because today is the completion of my first year serving in the role as your president for Family Federation. As you know, I like taking the time to reflect on time periods in my life, and this first year as Family Fed president has been very significant. So to commemorate this day, I thought it would be appropriate to share on the topic of claiming your victories. I'd like to go into why it's important to claim your victories, share some key examples, and show some key steps to help you claim your victories for this year. So let's look into some principles of claiming your victories. You know, the first principle is that you need to declare your victories in order to claim it. I know it sounds very simple, but many times we're so busy that we don't remember to take time to acknowledge and celebrate our wins. And if we don't do that, we're not really able to make an offering of it to God. It's kind of like having an event, but not reporting it. Or kind of like the proverbial, if the tree fell in the forest and it didn't make a sound or you didn't hear it, did it actually happen? Even if you were to win the lottery, unless you claim it, you don't get the money. So you kind of get my point. The other challenge of claiming victories is if you don't claim it, you will feel exhausted because you'll be busy all the time, not remembering what you were busy for. So this is a very important skill and to really claim your victory. Now, another key point about claiming victories is that it takes practice and perspective. Claiming victories is like a muscle. You need to build on it by doing it often. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes to claim your victories. Now, some victories are not obvious. And it takes deeper reflection, perspective, and sometimes prayer to decipher and to be able to claim the victories despite your difficult circumstances. And a third point I'd like to make about claiming victories is that it builds confidence. By celebrating your victories often, you can have this sense of, I got this, I can do this. One analogy I like to share often when I'm empowering and encouraging others is that it's kind of like playing, if you were to imagine poker as a game of life. Every time you claim a victory, however big or small, you're able to add another chip to your table, right? Some victories are big. You completed your master's degree. Great, that might be $1,000 chip. Some might be small, like I got up this morning, or I did the dishes, or I did my homework. and that might be a $1 chip. But the point is, by claiming the victory, you're adding chips to your pile. And the more, for those who know poker, the more chips you have, the more you can bet, the more you can play the game of life. So it's really important, if you're not used to claiming your victories, you end up playing small in life. You end up not having the confidence. You end up not having enough chips at the table to even bet as opportunities come in front of you. So this is a really important skill to have in building your confidence. And later on, I'm going to explain more about the spiritual value of also claiming victories. So let's look at some examples of how to claim victories. The first one is about claiming benchmarks. So major things that have been achieved in your life, it's really important to claim those benchmarks. Let's take a look at a few examples from Father and Mother Moon's life. Here's a passage from the Mother of Peace on the Holy Marriage Blessing in 1960. The prophesied marriage supper of the Lamb, the day of our holy wedding, was a turning point, the day when God won his victory and recovered his lost glory. Furthermore, this was a day of joy for humankind, and it inaugurated a new history in which all can live together, not only with their true father, but also with their true mother. You know, this ceremony was a relatively small ceremony in the middle of Korea. At that point, it was almost a third world country. There was also a lot of persecution. So in one sense, it was a very, how do I say, like insignificant event from one perspective. But Father and Mother Moon knew and had tremendous conviction in the significance of this event. And that's what allowed God to use this as a starting point to move his blessing providence forward. So it's so important for central figures to be able to claim a victory of through the intention or value of whatever happens. Let's look at another example. This is the Washington Monument Rally. It was called the Bicentennial God Bless America Festival. Father Moon enumerates. We won a triple victory. More than 300,000 people came. This was one victory. Delivering my message was a second victory. And the peaceful, orderly procession of events was the third victory. But an even greater victory came after the rally. That night, we cleaned up the entire monument area and completely depostered the city. So Father Moon lists 4 key victories here. And as the owner and driver of the event, he's the one responsible to decide the significance of the event. So I'm reiterating this, but we are responsible for claiming our own victories and framing our life experiences. If you see a victory and if you claim it as such, then you experience life as such. If you see something and you see it as a failure, then you experience that same experience as a failure. So it's so important that you, as the owner, as the driver of your experience in life, that you learn how to see and claim the victories that happen in your life. One key point here, he said, that the 4th victory was that night they cleaned up the entire monument area and completely depostered the city. That was because Father Moon promised the administrators and the city that they will clean up after themselves. And people were amazed that in one night, the tens and hundreds of thousands of posters were all cleaned up. So that was about really staying true to his word. And for him, that was a victory to show that the members and the movement were responsible people. Another key example of claiming victories is turning your challenges into victories. So let's look at one example from Father's life. Because I know God's tremendous power, I too was anticipating a great historical victory. Danbury is the modern day crucifixion. I told myself, but I will turn the hill of Danbury into the hill of victory and resurrection. So this was a very difficult time for a whole movement, and especially for Mother Moon. Father Moon was incarcerated and basically unjustly targeted by the IRS and for tax evasion. That was the charge. But anyway, I won't go into details, but it was very clear that it was based off of religious persecution. But instead of being depressed or angry at America, Father Moon saw this as an opportunity to build relationships with pastors and focusing on religious freedom. So through this kind of challenge, he was able to actually build a network of religious partners that could really see through the facade of this charge as religious persecution. Let's take a look at another example from Mother Moon's life. I hereby declare to the Heavenly Parent that I have designated this nation to be called Cheongilguk, and offer to heaven the rose and lily as the national flowers, the cranes as the national bird, together with the Cheongilguk flag and the Cheongilguk national anthem. Today, on this, the 13th day of the first month of 2013, I proclaim the founding year of Cheongilguk. This was a very challenging time for our global community. Father Moon had passed just 4 months earlier, and Mother Moon had to carry the whole movement on her shoulders and still claim the victory according to Father Moon's direction, because Father Moon had been talking about this Foundation Day, January 13th, 2013, as a significant benchmark in human history and God's providence. But since Father Moon passed 4 months earlier, everyone was wondering what's going to happen. This wasn't supposed to happen. There were many doubts. But I felt in this case, Mother Moon took this challenge and decided to continue to claim that day as a victory. And because she did, it became a victory. That's how important it is. It's like amidst any kind of challenge, for people to continue to move according to God's plan, that's so important in moving forward in God's providence and in general in your life as well. Cheongilguk, by the way, is a Korean term which basically translates into the kingdom of heaven on earth. So I really feel like this was a tremendous victory among a really challenging situation, and Mother was able to carry this baton from Father Moon and continue to lead our community forward. One final example of claiming victories is finishing well at the end of your life. So let's read John chapter 19:30. When he had received the drink, Jesus said, "It is finished." With that, he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. Now, there's a lot of different interpretations around what that final message from Jesus meant. But our understanding is that this statement is how Jesus was able to make a complete offering of his life to God. Basically, Jesus offered his life in a kind of as a pure offering amidst this tremendous trial. He was being crucified, people misunderstood him, but he was willing to offer it, and he was willing to go through and let go of all the different kind of emotions that he was feeling at that moment and basically offer it up and say, "It is done." So let's read another example from Father Moon's final prayer. I have completed everything. Today, as I have returned the conclusion of the final perfection to you, Father, I know that up to this moment I have offered my whole life to you. I am spending this time now to bring my life to its conclusion, to bring it to a close with utmost devotion in accordance with your will. This was August 13th, 2012. Here, Father Moon is offering his whole life up to God. He knew at that point that he was going to be passing soon. And, I was thinking about the significance of this, both for Jesus and for Father Moon, saying this kind of final statement. And I really feel it's out of this filial piety towards God. It's almost like, don't worry, God, this is my life, and I offer everything up to you in the final breath that you have. And I feel like this is the final claim that each of us need to make in front of God before we end our life here on earth. Whatever regrets we may have or things that are incomplete, I think it's really important to prepare. Make time to clear your mind, complete things that are incomplete, and clear your soul so that at the end of your life, you can be at peace. And with that sense of peace, you can really claim your life as a victory and offer it to God. Only you can do this for your life. So it's a really great example of both Jesus and Father Moon here of how to end your life well is really being able to claim it as a victory and offering it. Now that we saw examples of how to claim victories, let's explore how we can practice claiming victories in our own lives. So first step is I'd like you to create a list of accomplishments within a certain time period. We're in November of 2021. It's almost the end of the year, but it's never too early. You can start creating your lists, but start looking at your life and seeing what are some things that you're proud of, that you'd like to claim a victory on. So I had a chance, since today was the last day of my first year as the president, I took some time yesterday and this morning to really reflect. And for me, 3 victories that I'd like to claim is number 1, just simply accepting this appointment as the first second generation president of Family Federation, second generation meaning born into the movement. And a second victory is delivering 51 sermons on National Family Service. Yes, this is the 51st sermon. The first one was more of an inaugural kind of message, but 51 sermons. And a third victory I'd like to claim is there was a tour, a Subregion 1 or Northeast activation tour where I was able, together with Dr. Yong, visiting 10 states, 22 communities in 22 days. So that was quite a whirlwind of a tour, but I felt that it was a great way to really activate and empower our community members in the Northeast. So similarly, I want you to look back at your year and list some of the things that you're proud of, that you feel like you're able to complete and make an offering. Now, the next thing I'd like you to do is to create a list of challenges. Now, sometimes we don't like to think about our challenges, or maybe sometimes we think too much of all the challenges that we have, but it's good to list out what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced during that time period. So I had a chance to reflect also, and in my year, I think 3 of the challenges that really stood out. One was, preparing for these sermons on a weekly basis. It definitely was challenging, not because of the time and energy it took to prepare, but because I had to do that while managing the national organization, dealing with crises as they showed up, and also responding to international headquarters. Many times they had these major events on Saturday nights which is usually the most important time to prepare for the sermon. So anyway, that was a challenge. Another challenge was there are many providential goals coming from heaven, and I really struggled to find a way to respond to those kind of national goals while really empowering and supporting the local communities. So that was definitely a challenge. And finally, I would say, one real challenge was in the middle of this year, my father had a stroke, and it's been taking a lot of my time, my wife's time, my family's energy to take care of my father and my parents. And this is an ongoing thing on a daily basis. So these are some examples of the challenges that I faced this year. And I think it's good for each of us, each of you, to take a moment to list out the different key challenges that you faced. I was encouraged by this passage from Father Moon while I was preparing for this sermon. We can only claim our victory and our pride once we have gone through the difficult days. So it's interesting. Victory is typically connected with the challenges that we face. And when we overcome those challenges, there's a sense of pride and confidence that comes with being able to overcome those challenges. So challenges are not necessarily a bad thing. Actually, if we can identify what they are, and especially if we can overcome them or even learn from them, then it's a victory. So the third step after listing your victories, identifying your challenges, is to reflect on the lessons learned and offer it to God. So this is a really important point. It's like if we just end with the victories and the challenges, that's good. I mean, you can still have a lot done just by doing that. But taking another step further and asking yourself, what did I learn from these victories and challenges? And being able to offer it up in prayer or reporting it to your parents, your spiritual mentor, or your pastor. This is really the spiritual practice and essence in claiming victories. You know, as I said earlier, both Father and Mother Moon, even Jesus, they offered everything up to God. So the point of claiming victory is not just for myself and my own confidence, it's really to comfort God as your parent. Say, hey, God, this is what I did. This is what I was able to accomplish and offer. And I offer this up to you. That's really the motive and heart of claiming victories. So as I reflected, a few points stood out. One was that, this past year, I was really spending a lot of time and energy on reorganization, crisis management, and engaging our membership. But I feel like it's built a foundation where now I can focus more on development and growth during this second year, which really excites me. Another key insight that I learned while I was reflecting was that, although it's been very challenging with my dad's stroke, it's allowed me to spend more time with my wife. We ended up, visiting on almost a daily basis, having lunch dates, walks, even as challenging as it was, spending more time talking together about how to better care for my parents. So amidst the challenges, I could see there were some amazing hidden blessings that were there as well. And finally, one thing I was struggling with is usually I like to do a lot of additional side projects and, do things like exercise and pursue personal goals. And I felt a little bit down that I couldn't do much of that this year. But when I reflected, I felt that everything that I'm doing right now, especially because of the challenging circumstances with my presidential duties, caring for my parents, and balancing my family life, that itself has been extraordinary. And I think sometimes when we're in the midst of challenge and we look at our limitations, we kind of end there. But if we see that despite these challenges, we're able to continue, that itself can be claimed as a victory. So let's now get to the secret to claiming your victories. There was one passage from Father Moon that I really liked. I'd like to share that with you now. We must understand how important it is to persevere and tolerate. The brave person can win a victory in the first battle, but not even the bravest man will win battles continuously without ever losing. The man who perseveres may lose initially, but in the second and third conflict, his chances of winning are greater. So the secret to really claiming victories is that knowing that the greater victory lies not in the achievement of goals, but in the lessons that you learn that come from pursuing them. So it's about growth and self-awareness. I like this one quote: "There's no such thing as a mistake as long as you learn from it." And know that with this kind of mindset, all the failures and challenges that you face in life can simply become the building blocks of your future success. So again, the key or the secret to claiming victories is knowing that it's what you learn from them, that's what matters. And if you see and understand that God is our parent, what's most important to God is not that you got a certain score on your SATs or that you got that job promotion, but that despite any kind of ups and downs and challenges, that you're continually growing in your life. That's what God as a parent would want and care about. So in summary, claiming victories takes practice and is an important skill to build confidence. Secondly, it's particularly important to learn how to claim victories amidst your challenges. And third, take time to list your victories and challenges and identify what you learned from them so that you can offer it up. You know, claiming your victories is a very important process to do on a regular basis. I do it on a daily, weekly, quarterly, and an annual basis. By taking the time to claim your victories and learning from your challenges, you can continue to grow in your journey of life. And as I said earlier, that's exactly what God would want us to do. So with that, I hope you have an awesome week, and may God bless you and your family.
Gotcha. Thank you so much, President Now Kimi, for your message today. I wholeheartedly enjoyed it. If, family friends, you enjoyed today's message and you think there's a lot of people who could benefit from it, please don't be afraid to share it with your friends and your coworkers and whoever you think may benefit from it all. So, family friends, let's take a moment to reflect upon the question: what sort of victories would you like to claim in 2021? All right, while we're reflecting upon this, let's hear some live reflections today. It is my absolute pleasure to invite Pastor Norm Presley and my friend Adrian Sullivan to share some thoughts with us today. All right, welcome, Pastor Norm. Okay, and welcome, Adrian. Pastor Norm, did you have any specific words of wisdom that you came up in your head while looking through President Al-Kimi's talk?
Yes, I had actually a good experience this week concerning a personal victory. I went to the Pastors Summit in Chicago. I drove up with Bishop Bernie Wade. And on the way up, I was talking to him. I said, you know, I've always struggled being in a priest pastor position. I said, I don't really feel qualified. He said, well, you're not. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, there's, you know, in Israel, there was 12 tribes. He said, one tribe was the priest, the other 11 are kings. He said, brother, you're a king. I said, really? So I thought, well, is that better or worse? And he said, think about it. He said, Jesus was the King of Kings. He said, Jesus was a king. He wasn't meant to be a priest. We have plenty of priests out there to preach the word that he was teaching us and to preach the love. And as we talked about it, he said, Reverend Moon is a king. He's, you know, these Christian ministers are supposed to take up the word and spread it. He's really the king. And so we arrived at T.L. Barrett's church in Chicago. And, you know, it's a long ride. We both had to go to the restroom. So we're going in the restroom. On the door, it says kings. So I said, oh, my gosh, we are kings. So anyway, I got home and shared that with my wife. And she says, oh, my gosh, I'm a queen. So I might have to be buying more jewelry. So
Gotcha.
God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you, Your Majesty, for sharing your words of wisdom with us. All right. Okay. Oh, but Adrian, is there anything that popped up for you as well during President Al-Kimi's talk?
Yeah. First of all, good morning, everyone. It's good to be here. So I was thinking about quite a bit. So today's my birthday, and so I've been thinking a lot, especially this morning, on just the past year and what have I been through and what sort of things have I learned in terms of the idea of claiming a victory. And one thing a year ago, I was at a very low point in my personal health. And one thing I discovered through that time was running. I really realized how much I missed being able to do something like that. And so for me personally, something that I've found in the past year that has been really great is measurement, like seeing what you can do over a certain period of time, what you can learn during that time, and being able to, each time you hit a milestone, to be able to recognize that and own it. And so, for example, if I ran 1 month, 1 mile on average, 10 minutes at 140 beats per minute for a heart rate, if the next month I could run at that same pace for the same distance, but I recognize that my heart rate's actually been at 120 beats per minute, I know that I've been healthier, and or that I'm becoming healthier, and that I'm gaining strength. And I can think on the things that I've done over that past month that has helped, and really offer that up to God and feel pride. And I think that's quite amazing. Another thing is going through family genealogy and history in the past year. I've just found a lot of pride in what I've found. I think something I've come to really appreciate recently is photography, actually. Seeing these moments in history and personal experiences from people that mattered to me, seeing the pride and just that capturing that moment. I feel like there's an inherent claim of victory and pride and joy that comes with at least what I've seen, and realizing that I want to do that more. I'm not a photo person. I don't take photos. I don't take videos. But something that I've done recently is I asked my father to record me every time I complete a major milestone in running. So recently I ran my first 10K, my first half marathon, my first 100 kilometers in a month. And he's been able to capture video of that, and something I've felt a lot of pride from and great graciousness from. I just feel like I can go back on those moments. I can think about them and really own them. And there's something about that for me that means something and really gives me strength. And I feel like that's my offering God. It's a captured moment of something that matters to me. And so I guess that's how I relate to it. Yeah, that's all I have to say on that. Thank you.
God, thank you so much, Aldrin. And yes, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Looks like you had a very unique year.
Yeah,
Very personal.
it's been one for the books. Absolutely.
Wonderful. And here's to another wonderful year for you as well. Wow. Thank you guys for sharing about your reflections upon the talk. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you. So for now, we have the challenge of the week. So the challenge is to list your challenges and failures / regrets from 2021, and what can you learn from them? And I would also like to mention that if you'd like to participate in the service in any way by prayer or live reflections, please do contact your local pastor. And if you'd like to contribute with a musical offering, you can email music@nationalfamilyservice.org. Now we are on to our closing prayer.
Now let's join Reverend Meldon Quarles for our closing prayer.
Thank you. If you all would join me in prayer. Dear most beloved Heavenly Parent, true parents, we thank you so much for such a wonderful day and a wonderful message. A message of looking at our lives, not just as lives, but opportunities that we can offer to you through the challenges we face, through the things that we go through. And we thank you so much because we know that you guide us. You provide everything that we need for life and godliness. So we thank you and we honor you, even as we go forth, and we just love you, oh God. And we thank you for such an opportunity to live before you. In this age, we want to lift the burden, and we can do that by dealing with our life and being victorious in the things that we do. We thank you for all these things, and we offer this prayer before you in the name of blessed families. Amen and adieu.
And for our closing song today, let's make our way to Fort Lee, New Jersey to hear the song From This Valley, performed by OG and Karen Bahian.
Oh, the desert dreams of a river that will run down to the sea. Like my heart longs for an ocean to wash down over me. Oh, won't you take me from this valley to the mountain high above? Oh, I will pray, pray, pray till I see your smiling face. I will pray,
Pray, pray
to the one I love.
Oh, the outcast dreams of acceptance just to find your love's embrace. Like an orphan longs for his mother, may you hold me in your grace.
Oh, take me from this valley to that mountain high above. Oh, I will pray, pray, pray till I see your smiling face. I will pray,
Pray, pray.
to the one I love. Ooh, 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 oh, oh, oh. Ooh, ooh, oh, oh, oh. Oh, the caged birds, dreams of a strong wind that will flow beneath her wings, like a voice longs for a melody. Oh, Jesus, carry me. Oh, won't you take me from this valley to that mountain high above? Oh, I will pray, pray, pray till I see your smiling face. I will pray,
Pray, pray.
to the one I love. Oh, I will pray, pray, pray till I see your smiling face. I will pray,
Pray, pray
to the one I love.
Wow, thank you so much, OG and Karen, for the wonderful music as we leave off here. And thank you for all of you for joining us here today. If you want to support us, you can go to the nationalfamilyservice.org and click on Give to support this ministry, or you can just type in nationalfamilyservice.org/donate. Or if you want, you can type #donate in the Facebook chat. Now, if you've gained something meaningful today and you'd like to share with others, please send this link to your friends, to your family, to your neighbors, to your coworkers, to that friend you haven't talked to in a long time. I'm sure everything can work as well. So for now, everybody, family and friends, I hope that you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you here next Sunday at the National Family Sunday Service. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Come along, you sound